And I look at that and I start to think to myself, what really are we getting out of this country? Why do we continue to participate in any of it? Forget about participating in the GOP. Forget about participating in Con Inc. and the conservative movement. What about this entire country? What are we getting out of this? Why are we still a part of this? For a long time I said, well, what we need is order. What we need is for Chaz to be crushed. And on some level, maybe that's true. Maybe the time is not yet right. But on another level, I'm starting to question the efficacy of this government, period, or its legitimacy, or any incentive for us to remain a part of this union, period. And I know some people don't like to talk like that, and traditionally, I avoid talking like this because I think you get into a gray area about whether or not you're agitating for violence or for revolution or something. At this point, I'm just asking questions. At this point, I'm just making observations and asking questions. This is not a call to action. This is certainly not a call to arms. This is certainly nothing the FBI should be concerned about, or the NSA. You should not involve yourselves in this. It's just a little inquiry. Military. Why would we put up with this charade? Are we just idiots? I'm starting to think we are. Just totally helpless, vulnerable, low agency, stupid livestock. It's what we are. It's what we've become. We've allowed this. The GOP is not viable. The status quo is not viable. This idea of conservatism as, sort of capitulating to the left and being multiracial and being in favor of liberty and the Constitution, it's not viable. Fuck Ronald Reagan. We're not about Ronald Reagan anymore. We're not about George Bush. As far as I'm concerned, we're not about the Constitution or any of this stuff anymore.
And to a point, if there comes to be where there's no political solution, which, in my own opinion, I don't believe there is a political solution that can help us in these troubling times. But I believe that, I think in American way, if since the state is against us, I think, if violence does come to an answer, I think violence should be used against them.
Are you a boogaloo?
He's a fad, dude.
Fad.
Nah, I'm not a fed.
Are we supposed to buy an illicit firearm off of you in a parking lot or something?
No, I can tell you what I am. I'm just going to
revolution begins now. Just buy this firearm off me.
Let me put it to you this way.
Nice.
Are you one of those? Let me ask you this question. Are you one of those people, if you're not with me, you're against me type deals? I'm asking honestly.
No, I'm not. And I'm not the kind of person. Now, I'm not telling you my entire ideology or what I believe in due to the optics. And I know that some people you're
on my Zoom.
We already know you work for the CIA.
On my Zoom, didn't you say you were like a proclaimed fascist?
No, I'm not one of those siege guys who say race war now kind of guys. Now, of course, I respect every race, but I know that.
Can we get this cringe lord out of here?
Ask him a question. I want to ask him a question.
All right.
So what revolution are you talking about? Because if your revolution ends up in my front porch, I'm going to put your head on a pike out in the middle of my driveway.
I'm not, I'm not advocating for, any kind of, I don't want a revolution. I don't want something like that to happen. But I know that if for some reason a political solution doesn't work, that it would be only way to truly be able to do it is either for revelation or pure collapse.
Okay.
Now, of course,
man likes genocide. Thank you for the question.
I'm not genocide. I don't.
You're saying
believe in genocide. I'm not advocating for genocide. I respect every single race, but you can call me a white.
If our way of America leaves, you're for all right. We're gonna take America back by force.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay.
Dude, I don't know other way.
Dude, no joke. You killed the vibe. Thank you, sir. Can we go on to the next?
Jesus. Thank you, sir.
Take him out of here. Get out.
That's not the last question for the night. Holy Lord Jesus.
He doesn't come after me, psychopath.
He doesn't come after me, psychopath.
Lucas, it's a wood gun. This dude probably sticks it up his butt at night.
He's getting he's putting on the school mask.
Right.
I told you he was a fascist.
I am a conservative.
Okay. Nick?
Bruh. What a goof.
He literally said that he was a proclaimed fascist on my Zoom, so just putting that out there.
He just threw up a Roman on the
Yeah.
You have a hoorag? Dude, I bought one of those when I was 5'2".
You should just kick him from here.
Yeah, take his coat.
Well, I love how people like that like to join political dialogue to say that they reject political dialogue, right?
Yeah.
We need a revolution, but right, everyone's with me too. It's kind of a contradictory suggestion.
I mean,
We're running out of options. We're running out of strategies and tactics and methods for recourse, and that's not going to be our problem for very much longer. It's our problem now, but I have a feeling that pretty soon that's going to be a big problem for the people that are making these decisions. And that's not a threat. That's not a call to action. I don't want to see any violence, but that's simply a reality. When you ignore millions of pissed off, angry people that are shouldering the burden for most of this country's expenses, they don't disappear. By turning your back on them and banning them on social media and not listening to them after you get elected, they don't disappear. They don't go away. They have all the guns, and they just get angrier and angrier and angrier, and pretty soon they'll have nothing left to lose. And if anybody thinks that's a great recipe for how to build a country, I think you'll be in for a big surprise coming down the road. And honestly, who knows if even that'll happen. People are so complacent, but I don't think they realize the fact that if it comes down to their army versus our army, I've got a lot of faith in our people. I'll just say that much, You look at these people that have taken over Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, pit them against anybody in Utah or Texas or Alabama, right? Pit them against any of the people in the rest of the country, people that know how to shoot, and they hit what they're aiming at when they shoot too, I might add. Not a threat, but just something to consider. So
I mean, you and your 3 members of your army can go start a revolution. I will happily sit and picnic on a hill as I watch A-10s absolutely abolish God, spread you into red mist as you flow over the meadows and just freaking fertilize the fields.
I would love to see what you guys would
watch
say.
that. I will watch the 150 millimeter howitzer rain down on you and absolutely decimate you and create lakes that I can fish out of. Please entertain me.
It's so funny. You can instantly tell that they're Wignet. You can just instantly tell,
dude. Like
the physiognomy, man. They're just always.
You look at the white nationalist.
A freak. He's back here in the dark.
Does he have a legitimate response, though? Do we want to let him respond or no?
Let's do it.
All right. So, here's the thing. Well, I'm not advocating I'm not trying to kill you or kill anybody. I want people to be on my side. Now, I'm saying this in response to, maybe I don't want a war. I don't want revolution. That's the last thing I want. I want a political solution. But of course, I'm not really a groiper. I'm not, one of these libertarians or anything like that. Man, what Patriots said, yes, I am a fascist, and I don't mind admitting it.
Get out of here.
Well, I would just say, I'm glad you said you're not a groiper.
Opinion sucks.
I'm glad you said you're not a groiper, but I would just say that, we should think about being practical. And I would just say, labels like that and talk like that, I would just question the efficacy of that if we want to achieve our goals. And if you say you want to avoid violence, if we're going to have a nonviolent solution in the country, to me, to pursue that, it's mutually exclusive with talking like that or presenting yourself like that. And I would just say that, as from a groiper to a non-groiper, I would simply say, I understand the idea that the government does not work for the people. I was on board with you there. The government doesn't work for the people. I'm with you. They're against the people explicitly. And as somebody who's trying to change that from within, you disagree that there's a political solution.
Why do we continue to participate in any of it? Forget about participating in the GOP. Forget about participating in Con Inc. and the conservative movement. What about this entire country? What are we getting out of this? Why are we still a part of this?
I would just say that, when you look at the government, how powerful it is, and the military and the police, the efficacy of a strategy like that, or frankly, talking about it, trying to gain popular support for that, even if you're for that, I would just question the efficacy of that. That's all I'm going to say.
I respect your decision, sir. And it's what I have to say to that is that personally, I don't believe a revolution will actually be able to succeed. But if it comes to ends to where, maybe a collapse might not happen, and then we just get to the point where pretty much all of our ideas are being put down, we're getting into pretty much on levels of like pure authoritarianism on, on the sense of like, they're going to come into your home, bust your door down, shoot you with your gun, shoot them with your gun. And it's like, it's getting to the points where it's, you're being put down for being white. You're being put down for being American. You're being put down for being Western. And of course, with my ideology, it comes with, there's a very, very big identity on nationalism. There's a very big identity on people.
I have a question.
That comes, yes.
What was your deal with holding up the white power hand? What was that?
It's not the white power hand. It's actually the Roman salute. If you knew that.
Yeah. I know it's a salute, but what were you trying to do there?
I don't know, because I got muted for saying shit.
I think he's trying to get me in trouble.
Can't
talk about it.
Well, I would just say,
because I had relatives that died in the war, absolutely trying to wipe the earth off from your kind of people.
Exactly.
I'm not a Nazi, but I'm not a Nazi. There's a difference between a fascist and a Nazi.
Are you a white
You know what? The pot calling the kettle black is something crazy, ain't it? It's absolutely insane.
Like, I don't mind if okay, you can call me a white nationalist. I don't mind, because here's the thing. I'm not advocating for pure supremacy. I'm not advocating for anything like that. I'm not advocating for genocide.
Plus 2 equals 5. It just doesn't work.
Were you anti-diversity?
I'm so confused.
Am I anti-diversity when it comes to race? Yes.
Why?
You just said you were respectful towards every race. How is that?
I am respectful towards race, but I believe that since my family has been here since 1724. That's a very long fucking time. We fought in the Revolutionary War, we fought in Civil War, we fought in almost every single war that has to be. Now, we're going to the stage of to where our history is being erased. Our people are being demonized in our entire history. It's like, oh, you're white, you're bad. You own slaves. You did this, you killed thousands of Africans, you killed thousands of these people. And I don't believe that, our people should have to go for that. I don't believe that our people should have to be a minority, has to be a demonized in a country we built.
Right. I understand that.
I agree with that, but I also agree with the fact that fascism is not the way to go, my guy.
Yeah.
It's like, and I respect your opinion.
I don't get your anti-diversity. Like, not all minorities and of race, not minorities, I should say, not all other races, like, put you down because you're white. Like,
it's more of coming from a. Oh, sorry.
I was just kind of confused with the state. You said you respect all races, but then you said you're against race diversity. That kind of contradicts itself.
Okay, so here's my response to that. Because of the fact that in order for a state to work, it has to be majority homogenous. Now, I'm not saying black people can't live within America, Hispanics, Asian, be whatever. It's just they shouldn't be citizens. I believe that they should deserve residency because they're not American. In my ideology, and they're not American.
What?
White people aren't just American,
you know what? So this Zoom, okay. This Zoom was made so we can hear other people's opinions. Hence how Nick Fuentes got, and I got introduced to all this, and I'm rambling on because my brain can't handle this, because it's like trying to do calculus on the ACT. Just won't happen. I'm all for hearing other opinions, but my guy, when you do the whatever, I don't care what you call the salute on my Zoom call at 4 a.m, there is nothing that I want to do than to just give up on humanity and just literally ask you why. And then every time you give me a reason that I don't like, ask you why again. And then at that point, chase you around with a very sharp stick. So I am confused as to how you can be respectful to other races.
Oh, he has a gun too.
Don't.
My guy, I got guns.
Get him out of here. Get him out.
Here's the deal.
I'll
miss. I respect you for having another opinion, but your opinion sucks. And a bunch of Americans died to get rid of that opinion.
Okay.
So to you, sir,
a bunch of Americans were actually drafted into that war, and actually 91%
that's crazy.
of Americans.
You know, the other thing too, there's a bunch of black Americans that died getting rid of your kind too. So
wait, do you like Obama?
No.
Did you maybe not like Obama? Oh, did he get kicked?
Yeah.
Hopefully he did.
Oh, I really wanted to hear what he said about
I
Obama.
just don't want to get banned, frankly.
All he talked about was Hitler and how
I don't want to get
the
banned.
Holocaust was a myth. It was so annoying.
The
Ooh.
Holocaust was 100%.
Yeah, it's a myth, guys.
Nick, you
The
wanted
6
some
million Jews
controversy.
didn't
Here's your
Bruh.
controversy.
I didn't say I wanted controversy. I said I
Someone
wanted
said they wanted
disagreement.
something interesting, and
I
that
said I
happened.
wanted disagreement, not
There was
not
nothing more than
that.
me wanting to stick my fist through the camera
I
and
didn't
punch
want
him.
Roman
How
salute.
can
I
you
said I
say?
wanted disagreement, not
There was
not
nothing
not
more
that.
than me wanting to stick my fist through the camera
I
and
didn't
punch
want
him in
Roman
the fucking
How can
face.
you not believe?
and
No, I'm just like serious. How can anybody not believe in like the Holocaust? Like, where do
I
they
agree.
think the 6 million Jews went? Like,
Because
Because
they're
they went to
idiots.
Mars, duh.
Yeah,
What do you think?
where
oh,
did they-
I
Germany building all
forgot. I
these
forgot. I
beaches?
forgot
The
there was
same
a space
people who are
mission.
Holocaust deniers are the same people who believe Earth is flat.